Hi, I'm Mark Clegg and welcome to the Photographer Academy, and this is the second part to getting started with SmugMug film. In the first film we looked at really getting going from the trial account, developing the front page, then going into simple navigation. We looked at things like quick settings, developing an about page with simple customization, as well as making sure that you understood the basics of the security and the kind of visibility of galleries and so on. In this film, we're going to take that trial site to that next kind of level to help it kind of get to a finished stage, at least in the basics. And we're going to be looking at how the client experience can be really developed, as well as looking at how the client can go online and view their photographs to buy. So we've got to cover things like uploading to secure galleries with passwords. We've got to talk about applying a price list, the look and the feel, as well as, if we want to, kind of changing the theme of the gallery itself so we can give a different user experience as we're going through it. So we're going to give you some tips and tricks to develop a site more, especially things like watermarking, so you can secure your image with its own look instead of actually just using the basic proof, as well as things like colours and fonts and developing it just that little bit further as such. So without delay, let's get into the second part of getting started with SmugMug. So let's get going by completing the contacts form. So let's just click into Customize and then Customize Site, and then clicking onto the red banner here at the top, which is the navigations bar, and then clicking onto the links. And then you can see we've got that kind of contacts already set there, but when I switch it on to go to contact form, it's going to come up with a warning there for us. So let's click done and we'll show you that. So you can see we've got this kind of warning. We need to complete our profile and confirm our email address and so on. So I'm going to cancel that for a second. Then I'm just going to click onto the profile just up on the right hand side, clicking onto that. So obviously my name is not Mark Clegg Photography, but my site name is Mark Clegg Photography. And then I need a contact email address in here, which is just for this demo, it's just demo photographeracademy.com. Then so I'll just create a profile photo while I'm here, just clicking onto my images on site, or just click onto that one, and then the cover photo, just go in and choose an image, any of the shots for now, just clicking done. And then we need a little bit of a description of the site, so I've got some text ready. Let me copy that, just paste that in. Now when you are pasting in text, you've got to be careful, because at times you need to kind of add the spacing in there. It does lose it at times. Just click save. Now that's going to send an email to us, so I need to wait for that to come in. It still won't allow me to do the contacts here at this stage, so let me just get my mail. So here's the email that was sent through. I'm just going to click onto that link there, confirmation, and then that's done. So as you can see, it took us straight into the site there. Now if I just go into Customize, and then I go into Customize Site, so click back once more, back up onto the top banner, and then go into the links, and then come down to our contacts. Now I can go ahead and choose the contact form, and click done, and everything's okay. So click done there and publish. So that means when we click onto contacts now, it takes us straight to the contact form and it fills it in straight away for us, ready for any questions coming in from the client. So it's a nice looking contact form there. Just going to click cancel to that. And then, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to upload into the client's galleries. So let's go to organize. And in the first film we already started to build the client files and where they're going to be stored. So I'm just going to click into portrait. That takes me within the folder of client files into the folder of portrait. Now remember, in SmugMug there's folders, galleries and pages. So the folder is the client files, and then there's another folder which is the portrait, and within there I'm going to create a gallery. So I'm going to create a new gallery, and I'm going to put in the title, which is going to be Faith. Description would be to do with the shoot and the client, and keywords with the metadata, so Bay, shoot, model, Cardiff, Fuji was shot on a workshop there. So I can't choose the image yet because there's no files uploaded yet. As far as the URL is concerned, you can see it's a unique URL to that client. So if Faith had been used that before, I'd have to add something else onto the front. So security. Now, because this is going to be a client gallery for sale, I want to be a private gallery. Now, in other words, I'm still going to keep it inherited, so it is visible, but it's not going to be unlisted or private, but I do want it secure. So by that, I'm just going to put in a simple password. I'm just going to put in demo for now. I'd usually put in the client's name and the date of the shoot. And then just into the hint would be just demo for now. But that would be the likes of surname or capitals, a quick tip to get to where we've agreed. There's only going to be a couple of little changes. I'm going to click away from the ×3 viewing. I don't like to see the image kind of as big as that for the clients. So I'm going to click on the ×2, which is still a large file to view. One of the main thing to kind of point out here, if I allow the original to be viewed by the client and I've applied a watermark or a proof, the client will be seeing it without the proof on, because it's only applied to the X3 down to the medium. It's never applied to the original because of course that's what SmugMug uses to print from. So in this case I'm just using the ×2 large. I want to click on the right click protected on. So that means when they kind of try and right click on the mouse, it comes up with a little message box there. I do want to apply a watermarking on here, so for now, because I don't have a watermark uploaded yet, I'm just going to apply the SmugMug default, which is going to kind of look like a proof when we see it. Next stage is the social. Now I do want the people to kind of share because they're going to be always coming back to the gallery, of course, or to that image. We can email an image out to a client, of course, with the information, or sharing it on Facebook. It doesn't actually kind of post the image on Facebook. It basically brings them back to the gallery to come and view, which is great for buying, of course. So it's up to you whether you want comments on or off, of course. I'm going to leave them on for now, as well as the likes. Clicking into the shopping. Of course, at this stage, I do want them for sale, so that's going to be set to on. Proof delay, we've got an option here to go between 1 and 7 days. I usually click on to 7 days. And then as far as the boutique packaging is concerned, these are just options. Obviously it depends on how you want your product to be displayed when it's shipped from the laboratory out towards the client, as well as the kind of setting up as the brand packaging and so on. Clicking on to appearance, this is how we want the gallery to look. There's several different kind of looks here. I do like the SmugMug, which is the squares to the left hand side and then a big image to the right, and that's what I usually use, but that's just a personal kind of look and feel to me. I want to sort by file name in an ascending option. I don't want the camera information on at all, so I want to switch that to off. I want to show the file name so the client can refer back to us at any stage what file it was, instead of trying to kind of a description to explain it. And I'm going to switch off the slideshow and also the map enable features. Remember, these are just for the client files to be viewing. Other things are sharpening, of course. The lab does that anyway, but these settings only apply to the display copies, so you don't have to worry about that. The SmugMug defaults are fine. Now at this stage, I do want to just save what I've just done as a quick setting. Why? Because it's going to save us a lot of time when we start to upload other client files. So just clicking into Client, Portrait, and just press Create. So at this stage, we've created a gallery. Just clicking into that and then click into Upload Photos. Now we can either click to browse to go and find files, but I'm just going to go and grab another folder. So I've got some of the photographs here from the shoot, so I'm just going to Control A and drag those in. Now remember that these are the full resolution files. There is absolutely no reason at all for you to downgrade your images. SmugMug are going to use the original file, i.e. this file we're uploading now, to print from at the lab. So what SmugMug does to allow the client to see the image at different sizes, like we just set in here, what it does, it's making multiple copies of that file in different sizes as we're uploading. So in other words, it's making duplicate smaller files ready for the client to view, so the client doesn't have to wait to be able to see them. This is going to just make the experience really, really quick and a good way for the client to be able to see the images instead of having to wait for the full resolution file to actually load in each time. So just clicking into done, and you can see here a few of these images still processing. That means that they are still kind of in the process of making the multiple files. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to click done. And you can see here the watermarking, the default one by SmugMug is proof. So when we're clicking onto these images, it's already been applied. And that's because I clicked the watermark on when we created this gallery. Let's go and upload another client. So back into Organize. I'm going to click back into Client Files, back into Portrait folder, and then click in Create Gallery. This stage is a family portrait, it's the Gould family. Then again, a couple of keywords, family, studio, Gould, children. So I can now skip down through all of these straight to quick settings and go and choose my client portrait. And that's put in all the information. The only thing I need to do is go back into the security option and put a password in here. So at this stage, I'm just going to put in Gould 121. And then once more, you can see if we click through these here, it's set in the quick setting options. So just clicking into create, and that's created that other gallery for me. Double clicking there again, clicking onto the upload photos, going to get our folder, navigate through to find the client files, and once more just grabbing those images and drag and dropping them in. Now there's many ways for us to upload into SmugMug. I'm just using the drag and drop option. I could have clicked to browse to go to a certain place, but we can also use the likes of Photoshop Bridge to drag and drop from there, and there's also a special plugin from Lightroom to enable us to upload our images. And you've just got to find which is the best for your workflow and which is the quickest option for you. As I said, I'm working most of the time in the drag and drop. That's pretty much how I've always been doing it in that way with all my experience of SmugMug, but you've got to find your own way and your own workflow. If I was clicking done at this stage, what it would do, it would stop the process, and if there was a duplicate file being uploaded, by default it's set to skip duplicates, but if I want to override that in any way, I can either choose the replace duplicates option. I might have updated the file, I might have done some retouching work, I just want to change it, or I could have actually clicked on to allow duplicates, which would have allowed a duplicate file uploaded, of course. So it's as quick as that, just clicking into done, and then once more we go into the gallery, and we've got this great user experience with SmugMug with a buy button here at the top. But I haven't applied a price list to either of those galleries yet, and that's a very, very important point at this stage. I should have really applied a price list. If you're using a full business package like I am, and a trial account in fact gives you the full business package options. So if you go with some of the other packages, there are some restrictions, just need to check out what's available. So as far as the price list is concerned, I would just usually go up into Customize and set prices here. That's the quickest way to set a price list to a gallery. But as you can see, it's just the default that is here at present. So one of the first things that we need to do when you're looking at images for sale is to get in here and change this your first price list. Why? Because as you can see here by default is 0% profit, which means you're not going to earn any money from your clients at all, and the clients are going to be able to buy them without any increase in price or any profit coming to you. So if nothing else, just go into edit list and just go in, and even with this kind of basic price list here, first of all choose your currency. For me it's British sterling. You can see I can't change the lab because that is set by default. So this is going to come from Easy Prints in the USA. But even if it's nothing else, just click into your currency and just go and change a silly kind of huge percentage, even 500, 900%, 1000%, whatever you want to do, just in case you haven't set a price list up, you know you're going to earn some money. And of course, one of the key things is you don't want to lose any real money, so at least you can earn something. But what we want to do here is go in and create our own price list. So let's go into Manage Price Lists and let's create a new one. So let's create one specifically for portraits. So the first one is name a price list. I'm going to put this client. And I want to choose my lab now. I'm based in the UK, so I'm going to use Loxley Colour, which just happens to be the lab that I use all the time anyway, so it's a bonus. However, if you are based in the US, you could use Bayphoto, Easy Prints, or WHCC, of course. So I'm going to click onto Loxley Colour. I want to choose my currency, so I'm going to change it to British Sterling. But of course, if you were based in Europe, of course, you'd click onto Euro. And if you're based in Australia, Canada, and US dollar, you would choose the right currency for you. Colour correction. Now, this is one of the main concern. If you're at all worried about your colour balance, always keep colour correction to on, because if you're not doing any colour calibration, or if you're at all in doubt about anything that you're doing, then of course you know you're secure with SmugMug. Now, as far as the percentage in here, you can see that in here is a 400% by default. We're going to go in and change that anyway, but I'm going to go in here and just round up the prices just to make it a kind of a quick price list. Click and create. So at this stage, in this window, I need to go ahead and choose some products. So just clicking onto choose product bar. Now there's over 1,000 products available if you're using some of the labs. So make sure you go in here and just choose what is absolutely right for you to sell. Because if you choose too many, you're going to find that it's going to be inundating product choice for the clients, and they're just going to get confused, and when they get confused, they spend less. So you always think about that less is more option. So if I say that 6x4 is what I want to sell, and I click on that little box to the left of the 6x4, it automatically clicks the luster, glossy and metallic. Now at this stage for this demonstration, I just want to take those off and just sell the luster print, because I want to keep it nice and simple for now. I'm also going to click into 10x8 and let's say a 12x8 as well. We'll toggle that back closed again. Let's go in and select a few wall prints. So just selecting onto canvas. So I'm going to click onto a 16x10, a 20x16 and a 24x20 clicked. And that will give us some basic products to work with for now. So just going to click done. So as you can see from the top here, it's given us two different product options, and then toggling that open, so straight away we can click onto 6x4 and it unravels to see how much we're selling it for. Now this is just showing it at £5, of course, which is based on the percentage, but this is the profit, as you can see it. That's what I'm going to get back from SmugMug when it sells. So it's not going to be a lot, so I need to go in and really change that to make it worth my while, of course. So I want to expand all of these together in that category. Just by clicking onto the products toggle, we'll unravel them all. So I'm just going to go in here and put in some figures. It's 20, 30 and 40. Now obviously you need to go in there and put in your own figures and not mine, of course. And then just untoggling that once more. Clicking down to these as well. It's 250. Then 350 and then 450. And once it's done here, we can see running down the side that we've made those changes and we've set the basic price list up. It's showing the profit based if that was being applied, but I've overridden it as you've just seen here. But I could have just kept to the 400% or the percentage change if that's what I wanted. I've rounded them up to 0, so that would have worked with the base profit, of course, and the price selling to the client. And then we can see the print lab, and you can see that the colour correction is ticked off. The one thing I need to do at this stage, of course, I want to make it into my default price list. So because I'm mainly a portrait photographer, most of my galleries are going to have this price list applied. That's why I want that to be my default. So just clicking onto my apply changes, and we go back to manage price lists. we can now see that the portrait client is my new default, and that's shown by the star, of course. So let's just go back to the galleries. So by clicking onto my profile icon, clicking onto home page, and then we'll just go into organize, clicking into the client files, into portraits, and then into Gould. And if I just click done, it'll take me to their gallery. And then all I need to do, if I hadn't applied the default one to it, I need to apply the price list to it. So by clicking into that, you can see that this gallery currently inherits your default price list, so I can just go ahead and press save. But if I just go back to the organize for a minute and I choose the Faith gallery, and we come up to the organize, and we go to set prices, and if I want to change that away, I could go ahead and actually change it into the first price list. That was obviously the one that we've changed away from that default to create some profit in our sale here. But it's good to know as well, if you want to go in and change a specific image to a certain price, then you've got this option here to go in and choose the price list depending on the image. So you can see the proof here, and now that, remember, is the SmugMug default watermark. But if I want to go ahead and actually create my own custom mark, to do that it's quite simple, just clicking onto organize initially, and at this stage I'm just going to go to the images on site folder and I want to upload into it. So I'm just going to click on upload, just go and get a file that I want to use as a watermark. So I'm just going to drag that in for now and just clicking done, and that's still processing. But really what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that image into a watermark. Now this really needs to be a PNG file to have an image without a background, but this isn't. But to apply the watermark, just choose your image and then click it, and then come down to the bottom here and click into Tools and then Use as Watermark. And what we've got here is an image big enough to go across the photographs, and then I can just use the fade slider here to change the different opacity. I'm using an image here with a white border behind, so it comes up as a bit of a stripe effect, but you might not like that, of course. And if that's not the kind of thing that you want, then all you need to do is make an image with a transparent background, and basically all you would do is actually save that as a PNG. And then all we need to do here is go in and save that as our watermark. And then to use that watermark, all I need to do is apply it. So first of all, let's go into Client Files, Portrait, click on to Create Gallery. Let's just call it Far. And at this stage, I'm going to use the quick settings once more. We're going to apply the client proof, but at this stage in security, and we come down to the watermarking option, I've got an option here to use the MC stripe. Just by clicking onto that now, and that's going to be applied. Now I can make this into a new quick setting, of course, just by going into quick settings and just giving that client portrait watermark. Just make it nice and easy for me to be able to see. Just before in the basics, just want to make sure that the password's in there while I'm here with the client. And this obviously is just being used for this demonstration purposes, so it would be a unique password for that client, of course. So just clicking into here, then let's upload some images. Go and find a folder. We'll just drag those few in there. And what we're really looking for is to make sure that watermark is being applied, which, thanks to SmugMug, we know it's going to be, and it's not going to be obviously applied to the image that is going off to the lab. Now remember, this processing icons here are just showing that SmugMug is still working on the photographs, making those multiple files ready for the client to view. Now remember that if you're uploading a huge amount of files into a gallery, it's going to take a bit of a while. And by the time the page is pretty much uploaded, most of those images have already been kind of converted into multiple sizes, so you're not going to be waiting a long time. So while that's processing there, let's just go into that Gould family once more. Just going to go into their gallery, and I just want to talk to you about the look and the style. So as far as the look and the feel of the gallery setting is concerned, if I come up into Customize and then I go into Gallery Settings and we talk about the appearance, and I've been choosing the SmugMug one by default, of course. This just gives us the thumbnails off the side, but we've got lots of different options here, and this will change the whole look and feel of the gallery, of course. This is one of the ones that I use quite a lot in design of the site, which is the collage landscape, and you'll soon get the hang of being able to go into the customized gallery settings and just going in and choosing the one that is right for you. The journal's quite good. This is going to be giving us much bigger images running right down into the middle, and we've also got the option in here to kind of add in text to do with each of the photographs and so on. But of course, if you want big images for any reason, then that's the one to be using. So remember, there's lots of different styles and themes for you to choose throughout SmugMug. So let's click back onto the file gallery just so we can go and see that watermarking being applied. And remember, this is kind of showing this white background wash because I've applied it to this kind of stripe. And as you can see, it still looks quite strong, and you might want to go back in and using the same logo but just in a much lower opacity, so you can kind of then choose between the two. But whatever you do, make sure it's a big part of your workflow to make it nice and simple to apply to each gallery. So before we finish off, we should look at some simple customization. Now, I've kind of just been using this smoky design through SmugMug, but I can go through the customization of the site, of course. I can decide on whether it's all the galleries I'm going to adjust or just that one gallery. So I'm going to make this gallery custom by itself, but if I wanted to apply it to all, it would just actually use all the galleries option above. And here I'm just going to go into the theme, and this is going to be the looks, which is going to give us the kind of the colours and tones and so on. So if I just click on to the tools here, and I can go even in now and customize their design. So if I can just click onto the color and go and choose a background color, click on an accent color here. Say I didn't like the white, so let's go and choose a different color and choose a different tone. Just press OK to that. And then as far as the font is concerned, I can go in here and choose something specific that I want and whatever size that I want. It's always down to us how much we go in and customize the gallery, the look, the feel, the style throughout. And then of course all I need to do then is just go in and just give it a kind of a name. So smoky light blue, clicking done, and you can see how that's given it a totally custom look into that gallery. I can go here and change the background. I can choose an image if I want. So I could change the photograph, never, but just clicking onto that one image, just go into Client Files, Portrait, into File, just using one of the kids' photographs here, just click it once, click Done. So you can see here that you are really starting to actually kind of change fully the look and feel to the whole gallery look. So you've got options here to do with kind of abstracts and colours and so on with it. Once more, it's just down to you how you want your site to look. SmugMug gives you some help, some guidance on what kind of colours and themes will look good. They spend a lot of time and money in development to kind of really give us this kind of cool looks. But then of course we can work around it to create the kind of look and feel that we want to our design. Now remember, when we're publishing, you don't have to publish each time. You can save for later on. So the next time I come into any customization, it's at that point it's kind of being applied, but then I can actually say to kind of publish it the next time. So it's great to know that we can work behind the scenes a little bit without updating the whole site or a certain gallery. So I hope you enjoyed this real look at getting started with SmugMug. As you can see, it's really just down to you how you kind of make up your site, and in a very, very short time we've been able to build from nothing to a great looking site with simple navigation to be able to actually control where the client's going to be going, so it's nice and easy to get around. We could go in here and add in a video to this kind of about page if that's what you wanted to do as well. It's just really down to you how you kind of make that whole look. We've directed ourselves to how the client's going to view, or kind of how they're going to go in and kind of view our portrait photography or wedding photography. And then as far as the clients are concerned, we've gone to a little bit more of kind of how we make money from SmugMug by looking at how we kind of create galleries, quick settings and prices, of course. So I'm Mark Clegg for the Photographer Academy. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.